Everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica and our side series, Lake on Lounge. Today we're going to be taking a look at Time Crisis, Crisis Zone, released in arcades in 1999 and then ported as a remastered remake for the PlayStation 2 in 2004. Interesting thing about this game is if you read the review scores, they're just average, although I think this is maybe one of the best Time Crisis games I've ever played. Spoiler alert / warning, I could not make the gun con work for this game, so this is the one and only game in the entire series that I have to play with the controller. It's unfortunate. I tried every combination of cables and televisions that I had, and I could just not get it to work. But the shocking thing is how competent this game is with a controller. It's relatively easy to play, and hopefully at one point in time I do get the gun con 2 working with it. I don't know what's going on there, but the fact that it's playable with the controller and it's fun just is a testament to how good the game actually is. I love how much of the environment is breakable and interactable. You can shoot through glass, you can break books, you can shoot tennis balls and skis and all sorts of other strange things. You'll see when I get into this room here, all those different magazines and books on the shelf are going to get destroyed. There's going to be pages flying up. So as far as the environment this game takes place in, it's really full of different items that you don't usually see in light gun games, so I think it's definitely impressive from that standpoint. Classic Time Crisis gameplay, but as opposed to hiding behind the different elements in the environment, you have a shield, and when you duck behind that, you are invulnerable, even to things like Gatling gun fire from a helicopter, missiles from a tank, or grenades. Apparently it's a magic shield, but probably not worth questioning it. The weird thing story-wise is that a terrorist group takes over an apartment and mall complex. I don't know exactly why that is. It's kind of a weird environment. Maybe that's just where they wanted to set the game, and they decided to write a story around it, but it's still fun. You'll see these shield enemies here. They take a lot more bullets, but you can destroy the shield by just hammering it away, or you can wait until they poke their heads out around the side and take a shot or two at them. So there's definitely a lot of different ways that you can play the game. Standard Time Crisis setup, you have blue enemies, you have brown enemies, and you have the way more dangerous red enemies that are going to hit you almost immediately when they come out. It's got a lot of fun boss fights. Everything you're looking in a light gun game is here. So in that respect, highly impressive. And you'll see when I shoot these tennis ball canisters, tennis balls just shoot out. So I love the just sheer attention to detail that Namco put into this game when they decided to make it. And that's why I'm really surprised that it just isn't really talked about much and it's not considered a great game, because I think compared to some of the later Time Crisis games, this is much, much better. Especially Time Crisis on the PlayStation 3. That game to me was a huge disappointment. I was so excited for it, I pre-ordered it. I got the Gun Con 3 with the LED sensors, and the accuracy was terrible. It was hard to set up, and just generally the game was only okay. And then the first-person mode that they included in it was just absolutely terrible. So I'm not really sure why this game isn't as loved as I think it should be, but that's kind of what the entire point of the series is about. Some of the games are just ones that everyone's played, everyone loves, and I want to talk about, and some of the games that I'm showing on Like on Lounge are games that I think you should definitely go out and play because they haven't been talked about quite as much. This tank boss battle is definitely a fun one as well. You have all the different elements of the tank. You have the main rocket launcher. I'm not really familiar with tanks, so I don't know what we're going to call that. Then you have all the different Gatling guns on the side, and as you break them, they're unable to shoot and the stage continues. So I definitely like it as a boss fight. You've got these missile launching silos on the side, and then you destroy the tank and you're on to the next stage. But as far as the stage 1's concerned, it's a lot of fun. I think graphics-wise, it's also very impressive for the PlayStation 2. There's a lot of polygons on all the characters and all the enemies, and they did, when they remastered this from the arcade, improve the graphics, and you can definitely tell. So I think not only is it a really fun light gun game, but it's definitely impressive graphically for the PlayStation 2 with how many characters are on screen at once, how many different items in the environment are destructible. It just, everything that goes into it makes this a really fun and interesting game to play. The environment's lively, and I just really enjoy it. I will say once you get past stage 1 though, the game does become much more difficult. You're going to see me taking a lot of deaths here, and that's just something, I picked this game up for this series. I had read about it, I wanted to check it out, it was cheap online, so I figured, hey, I'll get it, I'll preview it, and I'll see if I want to talk about it or not. And you will see that the intro to this episode is completely different than the other 9, and that's because I was actually going to do Until Dawn Rush of Blood on the PlayStation VR. But after I played this game, I really decided that I wanted to talk about it more, so I just decided, hey, I'm going to throw it in and go from there. But I might not be the best at the game. I haven't really played it a ton. I probably played it through 3 to 4 times, and especially when capturing and trying to check my capture monitor to make sure everything's working, I'm not as good of a player as I would be if I was just sitting on my couch playing this. You see that knife guy come in there, they kind of trick you. Someone comes in from the left, you shoot them, and then magically someone on the right hits you. But I do love all these papers here that you shoot and hit. Everything explodes into the air, and it obscures your vision just enough to make the game challenging, but not so much that it ends up feeling cheap. And I think that's something that this game does really well. The difficulty ramps up, but not so much that you feel like it's just trying to completely rip you off quarter-wise. And considering it does have arcade origins, a lot of those arcade shooting games are just going to try to beat you up. And I do take my first continue there. When you start the game, you don't have many continues, and you have to go through all 3 stages before you can beat it. So it's definitely something that you need to work on. It's not the easiest in the world, and it took me a few playthroughs to be able to finish the game. But as far as longevity is concerned, it definitely gives you more than normal standard light gun shooters. And then there is an extra mission included in this game that wasn't in the arcades as well. So I would highly, highly recommend, if you're going to play this game, just play it on the PlayStation 2. I'm an arcade collector and I like getting PCBs in, but considering how much tech was in the cabinet, I really wouldn't recommend this to all but the hardcore collectors to actually go out and try to find the arcade version of it. It's just going to be a real pain. You'd want to get a dedicated cabinet, and unless you absolutely love Time Crisis, it might not so much be worth it. But as far as on the PlayStation 2 is concerned, it's amazing. And I didn't even get to play with the gun con. I had to use the controller, and the fact that it's that much fun just using a D-pad means that with the gun con, I'm sure it's even better. And I do hope I get that fixed sometime soon. Maybe I'll put an update video out. Short of that, we really appreciate you guys watching this. If you could do us a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe. It takes us a lot of time to make each one of these episodes, and every like and subscribe, it definitely helps us out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll be back on Tuesday with another episode in our mainline series, and we'll have some more light gun games coming up for you. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. We hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Game over.